Spider-Man No Way Home is genuinely one of the saddest but also one of the best movies I've ever watched. It starts off with Far From Home's crazy cliffhanger of Peter's identity being shown to the entire world. And although that's an interesting premise, I'm pretty glad it's only like 1/3 of the movie, because really I feel if they extended it a bit more, it would actually get kind of boring. So I'm really glad they started introducing the multiversal villains. Doc Ock was great, Electro got so much better, Sandman was not bad, but not good either because he had like 5 lines, but I like his inclusion. Lizard is just literally there, which, okay, extra bodies. And finally, there's Willem Dafoe's Norman Osborn. Willem Dafoe is the best villain I've ever seen. And this isn't nostalgia talking because I haven't seen the Raimi films in years. I had no emotional connection to the Green Goblin or Norman Osborn from the Raimi trilogy. And yet, in Far From Home, he got sold to me and I bought into his character so hard. You feel the torment, the anguish in Norman. I feel so bad for him. And I feel the seething hatred for Green Goblin. I love Spectacular Spider-Man, but that Green Goblin has nothing on this one. This Green Goblin is part of the best fights in the movie. The fight in Happy's apartment was really cool, really well choreographed, but it wasn't just a cool fight. He killed Aunt May! Side note, I've never really been that attached to Uncle Ben, but Peter's Aunt May is just a way more impactful and way better death scene because it fills the same narrative purpose of a loved one dying because of Peter's fault. And she says the iconic line, "With great power, there must also be great responsibility." Okay, back to talking about Green Goblin. This fight scene goes so hard. Even though there was a bunch of cool spectacle with the 3 Spider-Man, this fight scene is definitely the best one just because of the raw emotion. Peter is angry, man. He's mad and he's just beating down Green Goblin, and the man is laughing like a maniac. And then Peter, Spider-Man, one of the nicest people we've known in the MCU for years, with his anger, he goes to kill the Green Goblin, only to be stopped by Tobey Maguire. This is the best scene I've ever seen in a movie, and it's just a spectacle and full of raw emotion. Speaking of raw emotion, yeah, the people in my theater were pretty hyped when both of the Spider-Man showed up. Of course, most people in the Marvel community knew this was gonna happen, but that doesn't take away how cool it was to see these 3 Spider-Man together. Personally, I'm not attached to Tobey and not that attached to Andrew, but seeing them with Tom was just pure awesome, and them talking together was just really amazing. But you know what else is amazing? And also very sad? The ending. This is one of the saddest endings I've ever witnessed. Peter Parker giving up everything to save the universe is just beautifully cinematic and is saddening just to talk about. And even though you see that final swing at the end, which is supposed to be triumphant, I can't help but feeling a little bit of sadness from what's been lost. But truth is, not all of it has been lost. This scene still happened. This scene also happened. The people might not remember Peter, but Peter remembers what he's been through. Peter knows what it's like to be a real hero because of these scenes. And that's why, even though I'm pretty sad, I love the ending. And I'm excited to see this awesome movie again.